So too is Standford Steve. How is Columbia treating you, brother?
Absolutely incredible, Tyler. The only place I eat pizza in the SEC is here in Columbia. Village Idiot Pizza, phenomenal. Got to go see Dawn Staley and the girls team practice today. We're off to a great weekend.
All right, well, let's get it off to a great start in this segment by talking about the matchup at hand. LSU and South Carolina. LSU was a 7-point favorite. It's now ticked down to 6.5. Spread moving in the Gamecocks' favor, I should say. Do you agree with where the market's going?
I don't. I look at LSU's offense as very, very good. I think Nussmeier is a serious NFL quarterback. And when you look at this combination of LSU, I kind of like the way they're coming in to this game. Humbled against USC in that loss in Vegas. Tricky game against Nicholls State, who plays a tricky offense. But now you get to go against South Carolina, who's getting all the hype. We're not here because of LSU. We're here because South Carolina is undefeated and LSU already has a loss. But the NFL talent that LSU has on the offensive line, I believe, is the difference. South Carolina has been great, but when you look at the numbers, Kentucky ran the ball for over 5 yards a carry in between the tackles against South Carolina. I expect LSU to have a really good balance of offense between throwing the football with Nussmeier and his receivers and running the football with that offensive line. I like LSU.
All right, should be a good one there in the SEC. But, Steve, it's kind of a sneaky rivalry week already in college football. Take a look at some of these spreads we're going to see tomorrow. I want to show our viewers what we're talking about here. Oregon State, and Corvallis. The first ever Apple Cup played in September. Backyard Brawl, 3:30, right here on ESPN2. And the Rocky Mountain Showdown in Fort Collins for the first time since 1996. Big fella, any of these games on your Saturday card?
Yeah, I look at the Apple Cup, Tyler. I look at Washington State as coming in as a very, very solid team. And when Washington, you watch them, I think they're still going through the transition. They had to replace more starters than anybody. Brand new coaching staff. But Washington State has been phenomenal when you look at what they've done offensively and how they've played on the defensive side, creating turnovers, as you see here. But the idea of that Washington State offense, also a big factor. The game's not at Husky Stadium. The game is where the Seahawks play. So I like Washington State plus those points. I would even sprinkle some on the money line. I think they're that good.
All right. We got a couple of good games under the Friday night lights on the college slate as well. Any action you're involved in this evening?
Yeah, UNLV catches my eye, Tyler. I love what I've seen from that go-go offense. Offense coordinator Brennan Marion has got that thing rolling. They play two quarterbacks, both FCS quarterbacks. Sluka's from Holy Cross. Williams is from Campbell. Williams rushed for over 100 yards last week. Sluka could throw it and run it. I really like the problems that offense presents. Even when they go on the road tonight against Kansas. Kansas is better up front, but I think the diversity and the creativeness of UNLV's offense keeps them in this game. I'll take the 9.5 with UNLV and as my best bet.
There it is. I saw it on the screen. It is your best bet. Before I get you out of here, you say that was Village Idiot Pizza that you eat there in Columbia?
Yes.
All right, I didn't know Fortenbaugh had namesake pie in Columbia, South Carolina. Good for him. All right, you can catch the big man Standford Steve on College Game Day tomorrow starting at 9 Eastern. Always a pleasure here, big fella. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you, bud.
All right, let's stay on the college gridiron because we have Friday night action under the lights. 14th-ranked K-State hosting 20th-ranked Arizona. The home Wildcats favored by 7, total at 60.5. K-State 11-3 ATS as a home favorite since the start of 2022. Let's bring in the Village Idiot from Las Vegas. Joe Fortenbaugh joining us here. Joseph, how are you feeling this evening and how you feel about this matchup?
Not as good as you're going to be feeling in HR tomorrow after I file my complaint for calling me that online, but that's neither here nor there. We got a game tonight. We got to focus on the action. Tractor beam. We got to give something to the people here. Pull out the 9-iron, swing it easy. Kansas State, Arizona, it's a rudimentary breakdown. We're going to go over. We've seen over money pushing this up from 58 to about 60.5 for good reason. Both offenses should be able to do what they want to do here. Kansas State wants to run the football. Guess what? Arizona struggles defending the run. Arizona wants to throw the football. Guess what? Kansas State struggles defending the pass. Did you see the game against Tulane last week? Tulane's quarterback completed 19 passes for 342 yards. That's 18 yards of completion. That, by definition, is what we call explosive playmaking on offense. So again, pull out the 9-iron, swing it easy tonight. We're going to go over 60.5 points, Kansas State, Arizona.
All right, let's light up the scoreboard on a Friday night for Fortenbaugh. And, oh, yep, there's the email. I am headed to HR tomorrow. Back to Joe in Vegas in a bit. All right, we've got a day full of college football action tomorrow, so let's give you some action in every window in our all-day parlay. All right, get you set for the Saturday with an all-day parlay starting at high noon. We got Alabama visiting Wisconsin, Oklahoma State, LSU. The only top 25 matchup of the day is at 12:45 when Mizzou hosts Boston College. Joe, what do you like in the early slate of games?
Tulsa plus 18.5 over Oklahoma State. Classic Gundy flat spot. Last week against Arkansas, very lucky to get by the Razorbacks. They were outgained by 250 yards in that game. It took a miracle to win it in overtime. Next week, Oklahoma State plays host to Utah in one of their biggest games of the season when it comes to Big 12 superiority. And then wedged in between is a little old road date to Tulsa where you're laying 18.5 points. Like I said, it is a look-ahead spot on the heels of a classic comeback spot. We're going to call it a flat spot. Spots galore. Might as well be a Dalmatian, but we're going to play Tulsa plus the 18.5 over Oklahoma State.
That is the first spot marked in our all-day parlay. Let's head to the afternoon window now. We have 4 ranked teams in action. Middle of the day, that includes Oregon heading to Corvallis to take on Oregon State. Notre Dame visiting Purdue after that embarrassing loss to Northern Illinois. A&M on the road as a favorite in the Swamp. And that's the game I want to look at there. I'm going to go under that Aggies-Gators matchup. Texas A&M, their offense hasn't looked that great so far this season. I know they lost that game to Notre Dame, but maybe that shows that they aren't that good after Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois. Who knows? The Graham Mertz-led Florida team, okay, a little bit there with Billy Napier, but going to the Swamp, this is a game that's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. I think the offenses are going to get a little tired, and I think Florida can win this game as a home dog. To do so, they're probably going to have to show up defensively. So I like the under in that SEC matchup we got in Gainesville between Florida and Texas A&M. All right, evening slate. Some interesting games. Ole Miss on the road taking on Wake Forest. Number 1, Georgia, a 22-point road favorite at Kentucky. Colorado also visiting Colorado State after the Rams nearly upset the Buffs last season. Erin, what's your play on the night slate?
All right, I'll lay it with Colorado here. We're going to go with prime time, baby. I'm not going against them this time. Now, of course, Shedeur Sanders is going to have to be great in this one. They didn't look good last week against Nebraska. In case you forgot, Travis Hunter to score a touchdown didn't happen for me as my best bet, but that's neither here nor there. This week, they're going to bounce back. This team is 5-2 against the number under Deion Sanders following a loss, and the biggest question mark for the Rams is that secondary. So, Shedeur Sanders is great in this one. He's going to have to be great, even though he's playing on the road. Let's go. I'm going to lay the points.
All right, here's what we have built for you. Erin, Tyler, and Joe. Covered all day, ESPN Bet Live's all-day college football parlay. Those 3 picks, Tulsa plus the points under in Gainesville, and Colorado as the favorite against Colorado State, boosted to plus 875 on the ESPN Bet app, which you can download today.